I'd like to share with you the instructions by Michael Langford for Step 4 from the book, The 7 Steps to Awakening. Step 4 is to increase your desire for liberation. Make your desire for liberation more intense than the energy of 1 trillion stars. Make your desire for liberation so intense that your entire life is dedicated to awakening. The desire for liberation is A through E. A. The desire to bring the imposter self to its final end. B. The desire for liberation is the desire to remain eternally as the true self, that is infinite, eternal awareness, love, bliss, free from all types of suffering. C. The desire for liberation is the desire to awaken from the human dream. D. The desire for liberation is the desire to live eternally in the direct experience of the Absolute Self that has never known falsehood, suffering, or illusion, and that has never changed in all eternity. E. The desire for liberation is the desire to be forever free from the false and live eternally in the true. In the book, Everything is an Illusion, Michael Langford gives this description. The desire for liberation. The awakening of the extreme, intense desire for liberation is the most important aid to self-realization. The book, The Desire for Liberation, contains all of the quotes in Chapter Step 4 from the book The 7 Steps to Awakening, and both Chapter 4, The Desire for Liberation, and Chapter 5, How to Awaken the Extremely Intense Desire for Liberation, from the book The Most Direct Means to Eternal Bliss. The introduction to the book, The Desire for Liberation, Michael writes this: Liberation or self-realization can be defined as bringing the imposter self to its final end so that you can remain eternally as your true self, which is absolutely perfect, infinite awareness, love, bliss, that has never experienced any sorrow or suffering in all of eternity. The most effective aid to self-realization is awakening the extremely intense desire for liberation. The imposter self is very deceptive. In almost all humans, the imposter self's desire to continue its imaginary existence is much greater than its desire to be brought to a final end. Therefore, the imposter self uses numerous preservation strategies to ensure the continuation of its imaginary existence. The imposter self has millions of potential preservation strategies. There are as many potential preservation strategies as there are possible combinations of thoughts, beliefs, ideas, concepts, and opinions. The imposter self is thought and controls thinking. One of the imposter self's preservation strategies is to direct people's attention outward. Historically, the imposter self has almost always been successful. The imposter self has succeeded in enslaving almost all of the humans of the past. Not even one out of every 100 million humans in the past has attained liberation. This series of 6 books, the Self-Realization series, is for the purpose of conquering all of the obstacles to liberation, one obstacle at a time. The awakening of the extremely intense desire for liberation will put an end to all of the imposter self's preservation strategies. The 2 great keys are 1. The awakening of the extremely intense desire for liberation, and 2. Self-honesty. Self-honesty begins by actually seeing the imposter self's preservation strategies, tricks, and deceptions. The Desire for Liberation is Book 2 in the Self-Realization series. One purpose of the Self-Realization series is to put just one category of quotes into a small book that has the advantage of making it easier to focus, meditate on, grasp, and have insight into just one subject at a time. That makes the approach simple, easier, and less complicated. The idea is to stay focused on just one subject until you have received everything you need to receive from that one subject. Most people go on to the next subject without ever having learned to apply to their lives the subject they are studying now. The Self-Realization series of books are portable practice manuals aimed at helping sincere seekers of self-realization master one key to the self-realization at a time.